Reaction Podcast.
Viz Reactions Podcast.
That's the intro. Hello, guys, gals, and gremlins.
How long were you thinking about that before you said it?
Not long. Literally that. Well,
just went-
past 2 minutes.
Alright, the past 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Welcome
back to the First Reaction Podcast.
the only 5-star podcast
in the world.
Everyone else, this is a lie. We're the only truthful. We just
It's
checked.
true.
We're still 5 stars.
We are still officially 5 stars. But if you want to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, it would be much appreciated, and we'll read it out in the next episode.
Yeah, like a written run, not just a written run.
A written run.
Not just
Weasley.
not just giving it a 5-star rating. Tell us what you think about how rubbish our podcast is, especially today, because I could fall asleep at any second. I'm just very tired, and I don't know why.
Yeah, whereas I am more energetic and buzzing to do the podcast compared to like the last 5 that we've done.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you had like a day of, oh my god, I've been overworked, I need to chill, and you're feeling invigorated and ready to go. And I've done pretty much nothing, and I'm just knackered, and I don't really know why. But you know,
It's all right.
coffee for the audio people.
Podcasts can be chill too. But I mean, we'll probably be reacting to some stupid memes and shit as well, as always.
Yes, I feel like there has to be a certain level of energy for this podcast, and I will bring it for the viewers. Do not worry. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is something that we've done the last couple of episodes, and I feel like I want to make it a recurring thing. Is to always start off, ease us in.
Yeah, a little bit of news.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit of news.
I think I'll use that as the intro for it.
Just
a little bit of news.
Nice.
Okay, so the first bit of news that I want to talk about is touching on what we talked about in the Detective Pikachu episode, which was only like a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it's on Saturday and it's now Tuesday.
Yep, and he went from being in the top 50 most disliked videos with his Tatty video to being in the top 10.
Wow.
Which, to be fair, the difference between the number 1 and the number 10 is a
big.
lot. Like, he's at, I think, 2.5 million dislikes, which is obviously a lot.
Yes.
Not much compared to 16 million, which is the number 1. That's YouTube's
the rewind.
rewind video. Yeah, that's at the top still with 16 million.
What are they going to do for this year's rewind? Just showing people just getting outed and put in prison and stuff.
I was thinking that, yeah, there's not really been majorly great things to talk about at the moment.
Not
Hopefully
yet.
the second half of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, they could just talk
only
about
May.
the First Reactions podcast.
First Reaction Podcast, obviously.
And our 600 view video that we got.
Yes, ranking Marvel's S tier.
Yes.
They'll be ranking YouTubers and we'd be on S tier.
Oh, obviously. Is that going to be the whole entire of
You rewind,
YouTube
yeah.
Rewind?
Just
It's
ranking stuff.
It'll be a tier list. But that's something they can include, tier lists. I hope they do, because that'll be a good introduction. So yeah, but we just wanted to touch on it, and that it's gone exponentially bigger than I thought it would have.
Yeah, and the subscribers he's lost now as well.
3
Over 3 million.
I heard someone say it, and I have no facts to back this up, so it's probably not true. But someone said that he's lost subscribers, first of all, quicker than anyone else has ever lost subscribers, which that seems like it's true.
Yeah.
But I also heard someone say he's lost subscribers quicker than anyone has ever gained subscribers.
No way. Even PewDiePie and T-Series.
Which I don't know if that's true, but he literally, in 24 hours, lost 1,200,000 subscribers.
That's mental.
Like, if you said someone gained that many in a day, that would be insane.
He lost.
But lost.
And it wasn't anything to do with YouTube deleting accounts.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
people actively clicking unsubscribe.
It's insane. And then, like, obviously the whole him going after straight guys and wanting to turn them gay isn't great. But when you think in the grand scheme of things, of like things that have happened in YouTube, for this to be the be all end all, like this is the biggest controversy ever on YouTube. Well, it's not.
Yes. No. There could be something else that no one, or it's not been out into the public yet, though.
But
We don't know.
I mean,
but
it's the public that are unsubscribing.
causing it, yeah.
So it is very strange. Like Logan Paul gained 1 million subscribers when he filmed a dead body.
Did he?
He didn't lose.
Wow.
And James Charles loses 3 million for liking straight guys, which again, not. I watched PewDiePie's video.
Yeah, me too.
And he, every time he said anything about that kind of thing, he had to emphasize it with, I am not sticking up for James
Yeah.
Charles. I'm just saying, in
But
the grand scheme of things,
It's not like
yeah.
he's
He
not
also
killed anyone. He's not
he also
filmed
had a bit
dead
of a-
person.
exactly. He's not filmed a dead
Just
person.
been a bit of a dick using his fame
Using his dick.
to use his dick.
PewDiePie also had a bit of a go at Tati and her video, which I thought her video was pretty good, and I genuinely watched like all 40 minutes of it.
Yeah,
and
I've only seen clips of other people's videos.
It didn't seem like she was two-faced. She seems like a really genuine person, so I didn't necessarily agree with him having a go at her. But I agree with the fact that James Charles should be, to some extent, be getting some of this, but not to the level that he's getting.
Aye.
I like the fact that it was just... when we mentioned last podcast, Zara Larson tweeted out something about her boyfriend being like James Charles slid in his DMs. I thought she was like going to be really annoyed about it and like was triggered in her tweet. She just literally said, "Just sitting over here laughing because he slid into my boyfriend's DMs."
Yeah.
Like she was taking it as a light-hearted thing. I'm glad he's being outed for it. I think that's how everyone should be taking it, not
Probably, yeah.
to the extent that it's
Not pitchforks already.
Exactly, that's what. it
Unless
feels
he
like
did try and nonce you, and then
Well,
fair enough.
Well, I know we say nonce a lot, but we need to clarify that he's not noncing anyone.
Okay, that we know of.
Yes, that could be a big controversy, but not at the moment. That's not happened yet.
True that. So, you wanted to talk to me about something to do with Jeremy Kyle?
I did. So I just wanted to find another bit of news that wasn't just James Charles to talk about for the news segment. And I went down Twitter Moments to find something that was not too controversial or like serious, because we can't really do that.
Yeah.
And not something that was just shit.
Yeah.
So I found a happy medium, Jeremy Kyle, who, if you're from the UK, you'll know. We've got a couple of people, I think, from the US or whatever that might not know who he is. He's basically, I was trying to think of the name of the guy.
Dr. Phil.
He is a bit like Dr. Phil, but Dr. Phil's better than Jeremy
Yeah.
Kyle. Who's the
It's
really
like a
shit
basic
one
version.
with the like blonde hair
The
or white
judge.
hair? No.
Don't know.
He gets people to basically fight on his show.
Yeah, people have really silly problems that are to do with like relationships and whatnot, and they're mostly chavs that go on it.
Yeah, definitely chavs. Again, that's kind of hard to explain to anyone what a...
He's American, yeah, and he basically solves their problems, and the whole show is basically entertaining to laugh at the people for the most part, which is in a way pretty dodgy.
Jerry Springer!
Oh,
Jerry
I do know who
Springer,
you mean.
yes. Do you see how I was trying to explain it? I don't know how I managed to find it, but I ended up finding it
The
just
UK
by typing
equivalent
in.
of Jerry Springer.
Yes, I was just typing in "old man that shouts at idiots," and eventually it came up as a search
Came up
result.
with a picture of the guy from Simpsons, Homer's dad.
Yeah,
Abe.
and Donald Trump. Okay, yeah, so it's the UK equivalent of that if you're from anywhere else. But the reason that he's in the news is because his show has been suspended indefinitely because two guests that appeared on the show have died.
What, just died in general or because of the show?
So that's instantly what I thought. I was like, why would they suspend the show if two people had just died that had been on the show? And it's partly because their episode hasn't aired yet. And apparently a judge has like had a court hearing on it or something and called the show glorified bear baiting. And like basically I think two people might have like got beaten up because they were on Jeremy Kyle or something.
Oh, okay.
There's no, apart from the fact that the show has been cancelled, there's been no like other information that has been put
I thought
out.
they were like so traumatized by it that they killed themselves or something.
Well, it could be like literally there
don't
isn't. I couldn't find any
That's
information.
dodgy, man.
But that's all that's coming out at the moment. It's literally being suspended, as in not like. Because if it was for respect of the kids, of the people that are appearing on the episode that hasn't happened yet, surely they would just not put that episode up. But it's not that. They've taken down, they're not showing any Jeremy Kyle on the whole entire of ITV. Like, even old episodes, there's no more Jeremy Kyle at the moment.
That's a big show for them as well.
Yeah, that's like 8 o'clock every day.
I did work experience at ITV Manchester. So ITV is a big television network in the UK.
Like
second
the BBC.
biggest, like second biggest one. They have a huge team for Jeremy Kyle in Manchester.
I'm not surprised.
Huge.
And that's it's literally just suspended indefinitely.
Jeez.
And quite rightly, because 2 people died, but I don't know any of the context around it. I just saw the link. It was like, why would it be suspended? And then tried to find more information, and it was like, if I found more information, the FBI would like be at my door and be like, you shouldn't know this information. So I was like,
Jeremy Kyle will turn up. What are you doing?
you are the father.
Gets his bouncer that's on the episode to walk in, like the mountain from Game of Thrones.
Oh my god. So yeah, I just thought it was a bit strange.
Yeah, well,
a bit dodgy.
If it doesn't come back, I won't miss the programme.
No, I won't either. I think he's a little bit of a narcissistic, old, silly man, stupid idiot.
Man.
But
go on.
His show is like quite interesting trash. So I
Yeah.
end up watching it every so often. But yeah, if we find out more information, which hopefully next week we'll have some more information, we
can follow up
report
on it.
back in the news segment. Do you
Good
have
time.
some news? Because I think you mentioned before that
so
you
we
had
were
some
talking
news.
about Game of Thrones spoilers.
Yes, and how
we're going to
people-
talk about the episode in a little bit.
Time codes. You should have already seen.
Yeah, time codes in the description. And I was just browsing through Facebook as you were having a poo before the episode.
Oh, thank you for telling everyone.
And I saw an article that it says you can now get £100 compensation if somebody spoils Game of Thrones for you.
How? What does that mean?
So an insurance firm.
How do you prove it?
I don't know. An insurance firm has set something up that if someone spoils Game of Thrones for you on Facebook, Twitter, something, if you post proof, you need proof. Like, that's the hard part, I guess. Then I don't know how much it is to get the insurance.
Who do you take money off?
The insurance company.
But what do they gain out of it?
I don't know. I guess that you can't really prove it, so they'll probably just take everyone's money. But I did want to talk about that, but then I read the article and it wasn't that great.
Oh, right.
And I scrolled down a little bit more, and I saw, if I could find it again, an article that we're not going to go into too much detail in, but just a little news.
A little news.
The article is,
Little
woman
touchy.
takes masturbation breaks in work instead of having coffee. And then the caption that goes with it is a quote from what she said. And she says, when other colleagues are busy self-indulgently puffing on their cinnamon vapes or making trips to Starbucks to wait in line for 10 minutes for their pumpkin lattes, I'm rubbing one out.
That's a quote.
And I've not read the article, but I just read the caption, and
That's
I
all
thought
we need
that's
to
all
know.
we need to
That's
know.
amazing. And that, I think, concludes first reactions.
a little bit of news. And then on to
Game of Thrones. Okay. So, because this is a day later than it would normally be, usually we record this the day that Game of Thrones comes out.
on a Monday for us.
Yes, and then we post it the day after when I finally edited it and my laptop
should be today.
when my laptop's decided to fucking render the thing. It literally takes like double the length of the episode to render, and then double the length of the episode to upload it. So I usually get it finished by Monday, and it takes all of Tuesday just to
if you
upload it.
Do it overnight, you'll wake up and it'll like have
Be like,
corrupted
oh,
or
it's
something.
corrupted or it's full.
Yeah.
So it will probably be up. You'll probably be seeing this on Wednesday if you're seeing it as it comes out. So we're a little bit behind. Yesterday, because I thought sleeping on the episode would change my opinions.
Okay.
So I wanted to try and give my honest first reactions to it whilst I still could.
Yes.
So I recorded a little bit of
did you?
something. With a little bit of a twist. It's from me, because it's obvious when you hear it, but it's also technically not from me.
What do you mean then?
I found it right here. It's called First Reactions, Gerald.
Hello, Future Will, Future Joe. This is Gerald here.
Hey, Gerald.
I'm gonna leave you places to respond to me when I ask you things like, how are you doing? So, how are you two doing?
Dude, alright.
Good. So anyway, moving
Feeling
on.
good, Gerald.
I always wanted to discuss my thoughts of Game of Thrones with you guys, since it took you so long to do an episode on it because one of you was ill. Not mentioning any names, William. Okay, so basically what I saw
wrong
in the
with you?
episode was pretty good, but I also thought there were bits that were pretty bad. I thought there was good bits, like the dragon was good.
The dragon was
I
good.
thought there was bad bits, like the fact that they just avoided all the character development of most of the characters.
I agree with that.
I thought the Click Bowl was fucking really good, but I also thought that Arya was a bit shit in this episode. What did she do? Why was she on the screen for a lot of the time? Anyway, I'll leave the rest up to you. Just wanted to give my first reactions. Have a good...
Was that trying?
See you later.
Trying to say have a good podcast.
Gerald,
Thanks, Gerald.
very well. Thank you very much, Gerald.
Wow.
So, if we're ever
Didn't expect that.
if we're ever a little bit behind, Gerald will just hop in
can come
and give his honest first reactions to what we're doing.
Nice. I like it. So it's episode 5, the penultimate episode of Game of Thrones.
Yes, what was it called? The Bells.
The Bells, yeah.
Which was obviously very important to the episode.
It was.
I don't know,
Not
kind
to
of.
Daenerys.
No, well, yes. I don't know how you want to tackle this. What should we start first?
Not sure.
Should we start with because a lot of people were deaded this episode? Should we start with
People be deaded. We both mimed it. We didn't say to do that.
You can't speak. We didn't
plan
that. So go watch the video episode if you aren't audio people, just to see us mime together.
Both be weird.
Okay, so people be deaded. Should we try and we did this last time that it was people be deaded in
Try to
Winterfell?
list them off. Yeah.
Should we do it try and do it chronological order?
Try.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I can't. So first of all, a lot of soldiers be deaded. I think they were the first people that be deaded.
You are correct.
Was it the leader of the Gold Company? What are they called?
Golden Company. The leader called Harry Strickland.
Yeah, he's the first character in inverted commas that died.
Didn't speak really in the whole show.
Didn't really have a character.
Yeah.
He just was there
They just
to
included
die.
him. Basically, all the Golden Company were in the TV show were to try and make it seem like Cersei had more of an advantage against that. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Whereas in the books, they have like a lot more meaning, and they have war elephants, which is sick.
Yes.
Everyone wanted them, but obviously,
What I want to know is, we were talking about, obviously, just then you were saying the Gold Company are there to make Cersei seem more important, like she's got an actual chance to beat them. I thought she had much more of a chance than she should have. I mean, why were there so many of the Unsullied and the Dothraki?
and the Dothraki, yeah.
Where did they all come from?
Yeah.
So all the Dothraki died. Where did they survive?
I did too, but when they did like the war planning in the last episode, so episode 4,
Yeah,
around
they
the table,
said we've got half of everything.
yeah, they were like,
pretty
we've got
much.
half the Dothraki.
But that's not what they showed in the episode. They
Yeah.
can't just backtrack an episode
know.
later. It's so stupid. So that was my first big gripe, was like, I saw the army that Jon Snow was stood with, and I was like, how do they have that many people? Like, especially considering they lost so many people with the boats to the Iron Fleet.
yeah,
Like, they had
destroyed
half,
the fleet.
then they lost what I'd consider most of the Unsullied, because there was a shit ton in those
should
boats.
be. Yeah,
How do they still have that many Unsullied?
yeah. Well,
Wasn't it?
even if they survived, they swam to the coast, and they wouldn't be battle ready and shit. But
I mean,
logic.
nitpicking and all that, I guess we can't nitpick anymore because it's become that type of show. But
that.
I'm trying to not get like so down on the negatives because I'm conscious that we only watch this once.
Yeah.
We can be negative about it after it's come out, but you can't deny there are some amazing scenes that are going on. We're obviously going to be negative again, and there's a lot of things that I want to talk about that
for
are
the
really
most
bad,
part,
but-
I thought it was a really good episode.
Same. I thought all of the battle sequences, the visuals, the acting, top notch as
Quality.
always. Like, it's just we're expecting so much from Game of Thrones that it's falling short a little bit. I
People
think.
be deaded.
Yes, people
So
be dead.
Harry Strickland and all of the Golden Company.
Yep.
All the Scorpions. I know it's not people,
Yes, true.
but they just got completely wiped out.
I mean, episode 4, they all fire like lots of arrows within like 4
Hit
seconds.
3 in a row, and then
And then this one, they fire 1 arrow, and then the dragon's too close and kills them all. How did that happen?
yeah,
Also,
most of the Iron Fleet be deaded.
I believed your theory about the three dragons. I mean, not your theory, but
Oh,
the
yeah,
theory
it's-
you talked about on your channel.
It was a good theory. I never thought that was going to happen, but I thought it would be good.
Well, why was Euron looking so scared at the one dragon
Yeah, I
when
know.
there was two? That was the only thing that made me believe that there was
I
going
reckon
to
they
be
were
something
trying
else.
to just make people think
100%, yeah. They were trying to make us think that maybe it was going to be interesting.
And then he was just staring up and squinting because of the sun was in his eyes,
Yeah, it's
and
pretty
Danny was above the
good.
clouds.
The Iron Fleet, Iron Legion, is that what they're called? What are they called? Iron Legion,
Iron
I think,
Fleet.
from Marvel.
They're just from the Iron Islands.
Right. So the Iron Fleet, I just hit the mic for the audio people, very sorry. Yeah, they all be deaded, I think.
He'll be deaded.
Bar Euron at this point.
Yes, at this point.
Because we're going chronologically.
I'm trying to think of other characters that didn't die near the end that are main characters. I can't think.
I think
Obviously,
most of them,
loads of extras died.
yeah, I think most of them died at the end.
Thousands of people in Flea Bottom and King's Landing.
Yeah. I think the biggest turning point, because they kind of saved the character deaths till the end of the show.
Yeah.
I think the biggest point was the fact that they were winning, and then the bells sounded, and none of the main characters died. And if they'd ended it there, everyone would have been happy, as in the show, not watching, because
Yeah.
it would have been really boring. And they were like, "Oh, we've got to the point where all the characters are safe, and Dany, if she was the right queen, would stop." Because the bells are sounding, and then she's like, "Yeah, but I'm
But
gonna
she
kill
had AirPods
Cersei."
in, so she couldn't,
She had air. Is that a meme? Has someone
I've
done
seen
that
that
as a
meme.
meme? That's so good.
couldn't
Oh,
hear
I've
the
not
bells.
seen
She had AirPods in. No, God,
Jon Snow's like, not the airport.
no.
That was, yeah. So, what did you think of that? The little twisty of Daenerys going to burn everything.
To me, I fully expected it. I did.
You literally did a video on it,
I
didn't
did. I did a video on it after episode 3, saying that she was going to become a big villain, and they've been leading up to it for a while.
Yeah.
And she.
A lot of people have said they've just shoehorned it into this last season.
Not at all.
I think that they've sped it up considerably
Possibly, yeah.
this season. But she's been burning and killing people for a while.
Yeah.
What was it, season 5 or something
all
that
those
she
people
killed?
in Marine.
Yeah, she killed those people in Marine. Then she killed Sam's dad and brother
Yeah.
for no reason. When Tyrion was like, "Don't do that. Don't be
do
like
that,"
your father."
probably, yeah.
I think he literally
She
said
did
that,
anyway.
and she was like, "No, I'm going to kill him." So she's shown that she gives she's like, "Oh, I'm merciful," and blah blah blah, and then she's like, "Actually."
Hold up a
She
minute.
pulls that face that she did with Sansa, where she's like, actually, I'm not really going to give you any mercy, and I'm going to burn the whole entire of the innocent people and kill them all.
Yeah, I expected it, but that still didn't take away the not shock factor, but just I was like, nice.
Yeah, I thought they did it really, really well, and they lingered on it enough, and they showed Daenerys looking insane enough for you to fully
one of
believe
the
it.
first shots of her in the whole episode is her looking like proper haggard with her hair all
Yeah,
wiry.
mate.
It looks grey. It looks like if you didn't expect her to go crazy after that scene,
Yeah.
are you watching the show?
I know, it was definitely set up really well within this season, but like I said before, I feel like they could have. They went from, "Oh, she seems like she could possibly be bad," to being insanely bad.
Yeah, I get what you
in
mean.
4 episodes. So they could have done a little bit more from the previous season. She could have been a little bit less likable in the whole of this season, and then I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the events that have happened to turn her this way make sense.
Yes,
but
100%.
actual time-wise, that's 3 episodes. So if you're watching it as a person at home, that's 3 weeks for your value or your thoughts of Daenerys to completely change. Whereas if they had 10 episodes, they could have spread that out over 6 or 7.
Why didn't they? I mean, a lot of people have been saying that they kind of don't really care about what's happening in the show anymore, and they use the coffee cup as evidence for that. The people that are making the show kind of just don't really care.
It's just a mistake.
I think it was just a mistake, and I can't imagine anyone on the show not caring, because it's such a massive show.
Yeah.
But it does. There are things that make you wonder.
Do you watch the behind the scenes videos they put on YouTube afterwards?
No.
They're really cool. How they make it all and stuff. And
I've seen some from the last season when we were waiting 2 years for this season. I watched some of those then, And you can tell that they just care so
It
much.
seems like the people put their heart and soul into it. They put
100%.
everything into it. So when they saw the coffee cup or anything like
They
that,
would have felt so
they
bad.
would honestly they would feel like
An idiot.
horrible. Yeah. But people be dead.
Should we play again? No.
Should we just go to some of the main people now? Because I can't think of any other
Yeah, I can't think of any side ones. So,
side ones. Euron?
yes, Euron, I think, was the first deaded. I wrote down in my notes, I didn't make many notes for this, but my last note that I made was, if that's how Jamie fucking dies, the show has gone to shit.
Are you talking about Euron or how he actually died?
When Euron stabbed him.
Yeah, me too.
And I was like, if he dies right there without, like, if he literally just bleeds out
Me
and he's
too.
there,
I would have been pissed, mate.
I would have been, I mean, to be fair, we'll get onto it, but
We'll get onto
I was
it.
so annoyed at his death just in general. But Euron,
We'll get onto that.
I liked the fact that he died and he was like,
Yeah,
I
he's a
killed
crazy guy,
Jaime
isn't he?
Lannister.
Yeah.
I liked that last line from him. I thought it was all right. I just didn't want him to be the person that killed Jaime
Jaime
Lannister. I don't know what I'd really want for him, but I also don't really give a shit about Euron.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So
He's
like,
alright,
he's been an alright character for this season. Last season he was shit. Every other season before then, pretty nothing. He had a bit of a thing with Theon. That was it.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. His coolest moment was when he attacked Theon's boat and he came down on the mast and it was like, ah! That was
Yeah,
his coolest moment.
that was sick. And that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he's just
But,
been a bit creepy and
yeah,
weird since then.
he went out and they couldn't have really done anything else with him. I
No.
don't think it's decent, but he let Jamie get. Well, he didn't let Jamie get away. Jamie got away, and he was probably going to bleed to death anyway. Jamie,
Definitely, yeah.
should
Which
we
is
go
why I was
on?
annoyed about, because he was going to bleed to death. I was like, technically, the reason that he died
Yeah.
was from Euron, not from a pile of bricks. So that's how Jamie be deaded.
He deaded.
He didn't die
Yeah,
saving
Jamie,
someone. He didn't
goes
die.
back. He finally finds Cersei, and they have a cute little cry together. In the last podcast, we talked about how we were like, "Oh, Jamie's leaving Brienne for Cersei," and I was like, "Nah, he wouldn't do that. He's gone through a whole complete redemption arc,
Which
and he
the
does.
writers completely forgot about.
He does. That's
That was-
exactly what he does.
That was like that, and the fact that Cersei, regardless of Jamie, the fact that Cersei died, spoilers, the fact that she
Yeah.
died to
they
all the
died
bricks
together, which was quite poetic, I guess.
but the fact that she just died to a like the building falling on her, I thought was shit. I thought they've been, just like the Night King, they've been building up to this moment, and then they're just like, oh, bricks killed her, lol. And then fucking, they've also been building up to Jaime's redemption arc, and then he says to Brienne, no, I've got to go away. Both of us thought, oh, well, that I knew he was probably leaving Brienne,
Yeah.
but I thought he's probably leaving Brienne because he didn't like himself, and he wasn't
Yeah,
that he'd
exactly.
chosen Cersei, because that makes no sense to the character that he's had for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, Jamie was my favourite character as well, which sucks for me.
Literally the end of last season, he says, I've had enough with you, and leaves. I just don't... That was the bit that annoyed me so much, and that's why I was like, if Jamie dies there, I'm going to be so annoyed. Which basically happened. I know he went up and saw Cersei, and he had his moment with Cersei, which would have felt like a decent payoff if that had been his character every season. And
Possibly.
it wasn't.
Well, one of his problems, I guess, is that maybe he will always go back to Cersei, and but I don't know.
I think that that's their reasoning, and I don't think it justifies his redemption arc just being fucking shot in the foot and then he gets crushed by bricks. Like,
Pretty much. I'm not too bothered about the crushed by bricks bit. I think there's, especially Cersei, they kind of
but if you think about all of
humanized her in a way, and then she went.
all the ways that it could have ended, that we'd speculated, that would have been a perfect end for his character, he should have just died in the Battle of Winterfell, saving Brienne.
That's what I thought he was going to do, yeah.
Or Brienne saving her and she dies, and then he feels really bad because she's died, so then he goes to Cersei.
Yeah.
I mean, Brienne's not even there. She's still in Winterfell. She could have died. Either of those two options wouldn't have changed the story pretty much at all, and would have been a really decent end, and would have made, I personally thought, if Cersei died by herself, like all alone, completely terrified by everything, and then a ton of bricks fall on her, I would have been happy with that as a deserving
Drinking
death
some
for her.
wine.
Yeah, if she was crying, holding onto her stomach, saying I don't want my child to die, and then bricks fall on her,
Got
fuck.
you. Okay.
That's a big death. Jamie has his own separate death. That doesn't change Danny's arc. It doesn't change any of the other arcs. It just makes their arcs better than they were, and
Actually go round in a circle rather
as
than
opposed
going
to they finished the
three-quarters
circle.
of the way and then just out at a right angle.
We'll just make a
much.
dodecahedron out of this one. I thought there was. I mean, as a person, someone that's just like doesn't even know that much about the law or anything like that, that has just watched the same episodes that these people wrote. I feel like those two endings for the characters that I just literally came up on the spot, I didn't
Yeah.
even think
They were
about,
quite good.
would be better endings than what we actually got. And that's not even getting onto the whole prophecy, Azor Ahai, the chances, the golden hand that he has, and all that links to the prophecy. I don't really know
Possibly.
that. I mean, he's dead now, so that's
books,
obviously
though.
not a thing. In the books, there's a possibility. Before we get on to more people that be deaded, because you just mentioned the books,
Okay.
there is the third thing that George R.R. Martin told the showrunners that is the third big twist. Do you think that's Danny going insane?
Probably.
Is that the third big twist? Or do you
Yeah.
think we've still not had it? Because I feel like that's probably it.
I don't know.
It just didn't... I don't know why, but it didn't feel like a big enough moment.
Yeah, I think half the people, like me, possibly you, I don't know, kind of expected it, so it didn't
Yeah.
feel like that because we actually watched the show. Whereas half people were like, oh my god, that doesn't fit Danny's character at all. What stupid writing. So it's missed both sets of viewers.
They set it up too much for people that pay attention and didn't set it up enough for the idiots.
Maybe.
Um,
But yeah, I think that could be the third big twist because
Yeah.
unless something else, I think in the next one, someone will have to stop Danny and it'll probably be John.
yeah, John's going to kill her.
So if that's a twist, I don't know.
Which, prophecy, John plunges his sword into
the woman that
thingy,
he loves.
and then Azor Ahai, and then he's the king, and he's Azor Ahai. If that's how it ends, I'm going to be so fucking pissed off.
That'd be
If it's a
pretty
fucking
basic.
fairy tale ending where he sits on the throne and he's Azor Ahai, and the prophecy has been fulfilled, and the Night King's dead, and Cersei's gone.
I don't
and
think
blah,
it
blah,
will
blah.
be because they said it'd be a bittersweet ending. But if the bittersweet part is that Danny goes mad, that's a bit shit, innit?
Because we just had it.
Yeah,
We got a whole other episode.
yeah.
Like, there's things that need resolving in this other episode. There's a lot.
Can we talk about one of my favourite parts of the episode, which is also people be deaded?
Yes.
Oh,
I can't remember.
what's that? I can hear in the distance. I can hear
don't know.
something. It's coming.
I don't know what it is.
Click
Ball! Yes, as soon as you played that noise, I was like, I know what it is. Mate, I'll do like a replay now as I'm talking for the video version of my face. 'Cause I was like, what the fuck's going on? And I was like, oh my god, this is what's going on.
Yeah, no, I thought this bit was incredible, genuinely. The way that they filmed it, with all the effects and how it looked, with the kind of the payoff with the Hound, he's probably one of the last characters that we'll see that will have a nice finish.
He literally, his arc was fulfilled.
Yeah.
Side note, something that I'm mixed feelings with during that fight is it interchanging with Arya. The thing that I loved about it was every time the Hound fell, it cut to Arya falling in exactly the same position,
I noticed
and the transitions were seamless. Like, it was so well done. That bit was clearly... That's probably why the whole entire show took 2 years, because of that one scene, because it was done amazingly. And like they were in two completely different situations, but both of them going through completely the same like
That's cool.
movements. It was really good.
When I rewatch that, I'll watch out for that. I liked how when he was fighting the mountain. Oh, we also saw the mountain for the first time.
He looks a bit weird.
But
Looks a bit like Geralt.
when he stabbed him for like the 12th time and he realised he couldn't kill him because he kept pulling out of his chest and out of his eye, he just starts laughing, and then he
Yeah.
realises the only way it's going to have to happen
Both
is
of us.
if I rugby tackle him out into the fire.
I loved
and
the
they're both
part
gone.
when the mountain was strangling the Hound. I was like, why is he doing that? Surely he'd stick his thumbs in his eyes. And then he stuck
did
his
it,
thumbs
yeah.
in his eyes. I was like, yes, he's doing it. Yes, it's still
Yeah,
him. I'd recently watched a theory video that the mountain's head isn't his head.
Rob Stark. Was it that one?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Rob. I mean, I didn't believe it was
watched
going to be
that
Rob
one
Stark's
too.
head, but I believe
the
it
title
could
of
be.
the video was
Yeah,
The Man Has
it
Rob-
was by
yeah.
Bridge 4
Yeah,
or something.
he does quite good videos.
Yeah, really good. He has a very nice voice as well.
He does.
So we're going to get into
Hey
Game
guys,
of Thrones.
let's talk about Cersei Lannister.
But he did a really good video on it that was very tinfoil hat theory.
Yeah.
Which we will get onto. We're going to do a tinfoil hat theory this
Yeah,
episode.
boy.
But yeah, it was very tinfoil hat theory. But I genuinely thought that he had a different head because A, they've not shown his face.
Yeah, it's like Frankenstein that got
B,
made.
there's an episode in the show and I think in the books where Qyburn says, keep hold of that head, I'm going to need it for an experiment that I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then the next episode he makes the mountain come back alive. So like I assumed that he'd just use that head.
I think that's probably more of a book thing.
Yeah. But they had that scene in the show as well. They just kind of just glossed over it. But speaking of Qyburn, that was the best death of the whole entire episode. Holy shit. Did you see that coming at all? Fucking Qyburn's
really,
like,
no.
stop. And then he just fucking yeets
Grabs
him.
him, yeets him. As Qyburn's falling down the stairs, he dabs as well because he's excited for Clegane Bowl. As soon as he dabbed, that was the start of Clegane Bowl. Genuinely.
I really love the fact that fucking Qyburn gets yeeted and Cersei's just like,
I'll walk past you.
I'll just go past.
Yeah.
And she looks at the Hound as well, and she knows that the Hound's not after her, so she's like, just don't touch me as I go past. Is that okay? Yeah, I thought the setup was really well done. The whole entire fight, like you said, him laughing. It fit. I mean, the Mountain doesn't really have a character at this point, but it fits both of their characters really
I
well.
like that bit. That was one of my favourite parts of the show.
And I'm
Yeah,
so glad that they didn't do a ghost and they didn't ghost the Clegane Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Like they just got rid of Ghost.
That's
and
been
didn't do
something
anything.
that people have wanted literally since like season 2.
What, Clegane Bowl?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
So,
been a big meme as well.
if they didn't, I think that would have just cemented the whole entire season as like trash for all the people that are complaining about it. I don't personally think it's trash, but if they hadn't have done that, I would have been pucking pissed.
Fucking fit. In the behind the scenes thing, they interviewed the directors and they were like, yeah, some things that fans want we can't put in, but Clegane Bowl, we wanted that as much as the fans.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yeah, that's
So basically they're saying they don't really give a shit about Ghost then, aren't they?
Yeah.
Fucking dickheads.
I'm not bitter.
I am fucking bitter. Just pet him.
That was
John,
sarcastic.
just fucking pet a dog and then just make it bigger. How hard? I could do that in Photoshop.
They don't even need to touch him. They could just have a PNG and John can kneel next to him.
Just do this.
He can kneel next to him and just talk to a PNG. That's
Wait,
fine.
I'm going to try and prove. So I'm going to put a direwolf here and I'm petting a direwolf. Your hand's behind the mic, so that's not going to help.
No, I'm petting a direwolf.
So we just petted a direwolf
We were petting a direwolf for the audio.
for the audio people.
Okay, Ghost. See you later.
Goodbye,
Enjoy your
Ghost.
spin-off show with Tormund.
Yes, that better happen. I so hope.
I don't
that
think it will do.
No, it won't. They clearly don't fucking like Ghost. Maybe they've been saving Ghost's budget for his own spin-off show. We can dream.
Speaking of the budget, the visuals of Dany destroying King's Landing was sick as well.
Mate, it was so good. I loved the fact as well that they showed her destroying things for a fucking long time, and they were like, right, we don't need to show that anymore. You can just hear the dragon in the distance, and screams, and fire. We don't need to show Dany actually killing people. You know that's what
You know
she's
it's
doing.
happening.
We can just show from the perspective now of the people, instead of interjecting in between all of them, it being really fast paced and being like dragons, people, dragons, people,
Yeah,
dragons,
you
people.
just know it's going on in the background.
So they set
throughout all
it
of
up really, really well. I think that's something that a lot of action scenes mess up on, is they're like, these two things are happening at the same time, so we need to show them at exactly the same time. Quick, let's cut between both of them and let's give people epilepsy. Whereas they did this.
Give people epilepsy.
Give people epilepsy.
Have a boardroom meeting. Episode 5. What do we need to do?
Give people epilepsy.
People epilepsy. Genius.
You're hired. What should we do? Have some more of Ghost? Get the man out of here. How dare
So
he be
we
in the
fulfilled
board?
Jamie's arc.
What? Nonsense!
7 seasons of character development. No, epilepsy.
That was the end of their story arc. Was no epilepsy. Oh my god.
Another thing that I liked in this episode.
Yeah, because there were genuinely. I don't think we've shit on it that much, but like there were so many good parts of this episode. It's just the bad parts kind of stick out a little bit.
I liked John in this episode.
Yes.
Out of all the characters who they skewed off on their characters, he sticked to his.
Him and Danny
values.
have stayed.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really nice. I loved the fact that when they didn't stop when the bells happened and all the like warriors charged forward. What's his name? Grey Worm charged because he was like, for my queen.
My queen.
And then
and Miss Sunday.
John realised and he tried to stop a couple of people.
Sunday.
Will licked a Sunday ice cream for the audio people.
Thank you, audio people.
Thank you, audio people.
They ordered an Uber Eats for me a Sunday.
Yes,
Thank you, audio
Sunday.
People.
John stopped a couple of them and was like, "No, they've sounded the bells. We shouldn't fight." And then he started to get attacked by the Lannisters, so he's like, "Right, well, I guess I've got to fight."
Got to defend himself.
Yeah,
and he stopped one of his. I think the guy who he stopped from getting the woman was actually a Northman as well.
Yeah.
So it was like a free-for-all.
Stops a girl getting
Everyone
raped
was
by
like,
some
well,
guy.
this has all gone to shit.
Yeah.
We'll just go for a free-for-all.
And then he looks at Sir Davos towards the end and he's like, retreat, fall back.
Yeah.
And they all fall back, which could have just done at the start. I understand why they didn't, but if all it takes is him to shout, fall back, just shout fall back a bit sooner.
I think he was just too stunned at what was happening.
Yeah.
The look on his face was really... Like, the acting in that was sick.
So let's talk about, I know we touched on it, the things that led up to Dany being fucking insane.
Recently.
Yes, so literally this episode, last episode, the end of it, Missandei dying, the dragon.
Basically a best friend and another one of her babies.
Yep, so she lost a baby and a best friend.
Jorah.
She's lost Jorah, this season. Tyrion keeps on fucking shit up for her.
And
she's
Varys.
not happy.
She lost they're her two trusted advisors.
Yeah, she had to kill Varys. Yeah, and he was the one that was doing all right for her. Like Tyrion's the one that was messing up, and he's still alive.
She lost her lover.
Jon Snow. That's I think for me one of the biggest reasons for her to be so evil.
He rejects her in this episode, doesn't he? He rejects a kiss from her or something.
He rejected her. After the Battle of Winterfell in episode 4 as well. He kissed her a lot, but he was drunk, so can't blame him.
Nah.
I mean, everyone kisses their auntie when they're drunk, you know.
It's just a standard family party in my family.
We all just kiss our aunties.
It's not for the record.
We're northern. We don't. That's where his morals lie because he's northern. He doesn't. And that's I think that's why he doesn't want to sleep with her. And she's like, "Please, just sleep with me." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Nope,
no." And also, importantly, she lost basically her identity. She's always believed that she was the rightful heir to the throne. I guess taken away from her as well. Yeah. All these things added up.
And I think to her, him rejecting her is more than just the realisation that they're related. It means that he's accepted his name, which means he's accepted that he is the rightful heir to the throne. Not that he wants it, but just for the simple fact that he knows that he's related to her and he's accepted that fact. She now knows she's not the rightful heir, and if he's accepted it, and other people know, which she knows that they know, they know. She's fucked. Speaking about people that know they know, at the start, Varys writing the letter that says the rightful heir, blah, 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 he burns it.
He does.
Was that like a special magic thing?
Oh, no.
Because he burnt it and then took off all his jewellery and put it in a thing?
He took off his jewellery because he knew he was going to die.
But why?
But why what?
Why would he take off his jewellery?
I don't know.
He was going to die. I don't know. The way that he burnt it felt like it was that he was doing it for like some kind of magical reason.
Yeah,
I don't really know
who he was going to send it to either.
Was that the only letter he wrote? Had he told anyone?
No, maybe he was going to send it to the Maesters of the Citadel.
Yeah, I read a little theory online about the child that comes and talks to him.
Oh yeah,
about Thingy not eating, Daenerys not eating.
He was going to poison her.
Yeah, I think so. which I don't know if she wasn't eating because she knew he was trying to poison him, but still, like, fuck, he doesn't give a shit, does he? Just like, I'm gonna poison the queen.
Realm. And in one of their first seasons, I think, Ned Stark's talking to one of the maesters, and they're talking about poison, and they say poison is a woman's weapon or a eunuch's, and then the guy just goes, "Did you know that Varys is a eunuch?" So it's a little callback.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's a bit
niche.
it's a niche callback, but it still checks out. Okay, I'm just going to go down my list now for anything else that we didn't necessarily talk about. So we already talked about how many soldiers the good guys have, why did they have so many unsullied, and how were the Dothraki alive. Oh yeah, all of the people that were at the Scorpions before they got burnt alive were all shouting fire, because they were shouting fire to fire the Scorpions. So they'd be like, fire, and then get burnt alive.
Oh yeah, look, there is fire. He's not wrong.
And they did it like 3 different times, and I was just imagining all these like soldiers not being soldiers but being like idiots and be like, fire, and just like getting burnt alive.
That's a funny way to think of it. Have you seen Aussie Man Review's review
of
the episode? I would like to play a little bit.
Okay.
I feel like it might add a little bit of positivity to our overall review, and I feel like the way that he reviewed it was basically how I felt, but said in a more eloquent way than I could ever say.
How much are we watching?
Like 2 minutes.
Jesus Christ, I can't hear what you're saying.
Christ.
I think the positives really outweigh the negatives. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that at the moment, but I think they do.
Agreed.
The direction by Miguel Sapochnik, a.k.a. Sapo, is more on point for me in this episode than it was in his other one, The Long Night.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think he's in golden Battle of the Bastards form with this one.
I don't agree with that.
No, not Battle of the Bastards form, definitely not. Nah, that's not happening there. But I do agree he did a really good job with it. Like I said, I thought the visuals were insane. It was amazing. It's not been anything that's ever happened before, I think, in a TV show, I think we could say. Like, that level of fantasy, that level of theatrical, like, deaths and the dragon. I mean, this shot that we're seeing right now,
yeah, exactly,
is the shot of Dany burning thousands and thousands of people, and it's like the cool shots of the dragons fighting in the Battle of Winterfell that were too dark to see.
Beautiful.
But they looked really cool when you turn the brightness up. This is what they look like when you turn the brightness up,
Yeah.
like, and we get to see it for a full episode, and it was amazing. That's what I wanted to. Excuse me. That's what I wanted to separate in this episode was the actors, cinematography, visuals, structure of how it was filmed. So I guess cinematography still. Like, all of those parts were insane, and I don't think you can get better than that. Like, I think Game of Thrones is the pinnacle at the moment of that kind of TV.
Yeah, man.
And then you've got the story, which in every other season so far has been up there, and because the story is slowly going down, in my opinion, I think everyone's rioting and they're forgetting that we've still got the amazing visuals and acting and performances and cinematography still. Like, that's still here. That's clearly not gone anywhere because it looks fucking sick.
This
Pieces had me on the edge of my seat. In fact, I couldn't sit. I was pacing around. It was intense and powerful. I had to pause it and go chuck a piss. And the tone is bang
Chuck a
on
piss.
with what Game of Thrones is about. I think when you consider the big picture, the writers and directors have nailed George Martin's tone and messaging. I don't think their decision-making is that unbelievable in this one. Dany has wanted to be a conqueror and a ruler since Season 2. This goal alone has always made me nervous. She toppled cities, altered cultures, and imposed her will onto them at times.
What we were
Morally,
saying.
we have
Agreed.
been able to side with her a lot. Slavery is bullshit, absolutely, but nonetheless, there's negatives to conquering, and the show has explored that. I don't need any more build-up with her character, is what I'm saying.
I mean, we already said that.
We have,
I
yeah.
totally agree with Danny's story arc. I think that makes sense. I think he's just kind of glossed over all of the story arcs that were fucked up. Like, I don't think that all of the story arcs have fit what George R. R. Martin wanted by
Neither do
any
I.
stretch.
He talks about Jaime and Cersei as well.
Jaime going back and forth to Cersei so many times in a roundabout way does have character continuity. I can't bring myself to be frustrated about it. I got my anger out about it back in 2014. In which case, why spend hundreds of book pages and hours of TV gradually turning Jaime into a likeable bloke to have him be an utter cunt again? I like that they pushed a kid out of a tower in season 1 and then they died being crushed by a tower.
I don't know. I think he's just a lot more positive than most reviews, and I wanted to give a different...
Agreed.
different balance.
I like to get a positive take on it, and everything positive that he said, for the most part, I agree with.
Mostly agree.
It's just, I think there's definite oversights in the whole of the writing of the season.
Because it is such a huge world, this is the reason why it's taking George R. R. Martin 10 years to write the next book.
Yes.
It is, like, when you look at it in that way, writing this and doing it so as quickly as they've... I know it's been 2 years, but compared to the books, and
Yes.
it's George's own world that he basically lives in his brain.
I know.
It's bound to
And they've
happen.
managed to still create a somewhat, like, compelling story. And the visual, like I said, visuals and everything, it's blown away still. So
Yeah, I want to watch it again. Overall, really liked it.
Yes,
a couple
100%.
a couple of little gripes, but I am half really excited for the finale, half scared because I want there to be a decent ending.
the further we've got through the season, the more I felt like that. Like, both sides have been slowly going up. As in, like, after the first episode, I was a little bit excited for the next episode, a little bit worried what was going to happen. Then Battle of Winterfell, was a little bit worried what's going to happen after that, but very excited. And it's been slowly going up. Now I'm like, oh my god, what's going to happen? And at the same time, I'm like, oh my god, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, it's both sides, which I think everyone obviously getting annoyed about it, but I think it's a testament to how great the show is in general, to have fans like this.
That passionate, I guess,
Like, to
yeah.
be able to be like, all of these characters that I love, like, what is going to happen to them, that's, for
Yeah.
itself, it means that it's a
Yeah, if
a
you
decent
didn't
show.
care about a character and they did something, you'd be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. For everyone that's going to watch the last episode, they've clearly done a good enough job to make you want to keep watching, if that makes sense. If you really were like, well, I don't like any of the story arcs, I hate this show, I'm not going to watch anymore, you wouldn't watch the last episode, because you'd be like, right, I've had enough. Pretty sure everyone's still going to watch the last episode because it's fucking insane.
You fuckers.
Now, there is one thing that we didn't talk about. Arya,
Oh, yeah.
which we didn't talk about her full stop, really, apart from Gerald
yeah.
mentioned her at the start.
And with the Clegane Ball thing, you said that it was...
Yeah. So I didn't like her in this episode at all. She was like, I'm going to kill Cersei. I'm going to kill Cersei. I'm going to kill Cersei. The Hound's like, nah, you probably shouldn't. She's like, okay.
I thought it was quite a nice scene between the two.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But it doesn't... That's like, story arc. Gonna kill Cersei, gonna kill Cersei, gonna kill Cersei. Dodecahedron, we're just gonna do the complete opposite and not...
Nah, I
story
think
arc.
it was her realising that her kill list and seeing Dany act the way that she did out of revenge and that shit, her realising, oh, that's kind of what I've been doing to an extent, and her being like, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to be different. And also, she would have probably died.
I
She
think...
got out of there. She
I-
yeeted out of there. Not like Qyburn.
No. I think it would have been a more fitting death. I know she didn't die, but I feel like she should have died, and it would have been really fitting if there was Clegane Bowl and out of nowhere she just like came down and killed Cersei, and that was how Cersei died. I'd be happy with that. And then Arya dies because the whole entire building falls on top of them, and she dies because she's been chasing revenge for this whole entire time. Because that seems to be where George R. R. Martin's going with all of his characters. He doesn't like to wrap them up in a nice little bow and say, oh, they've learnt their lesson, they survive, happily ever after. He shows them, like, if they've got greed, then they die because of their greed. If they want power, they die because they want power. If they want revenge, they die because they want revenge. Maybe. And I feel like they showed that really well with the Hound, and obviously that's been expected with Clegane Bowl. I thought they should have closed both of their arcs together.
I don't think Arya will die.
I don't either. After that, I was thinking...
I didn't all along.
I thought she'd maybe die with Cersei, and I thought that would be quite nice. But I still... I really like Arya as a person.
As a person.
And I just didn't think she was. There was a lot of focus on her this episode that just wasn't needed. I feel like she was a good 30% of screen time, especially like the latter half. It was basically just her.
She was only mainly on it for the running scene at the end. And then
I just felt like it went for like 20 minutes of her just running through the devastation, and she'd get hit, and then she'd pass out, and it would cut someone else, and it would come back to her, and she wakes up, and then she runs a bit more, and then she passes out, and then it just kept on doing the same thing. I just thought it was.
We will agree to rank it in the middle.
We'll put it C rank.
But what about her white horse?
Yes, so as we discussed in the last episode of Game of Thrones, we did a little tinfoil hat theory. I want to make it a recurring thing where we talk about a tinfoil hat theory for every single episode of anything or like film that we watch. If there's a little scene that we could overanalyze and make a stupid theory out of that's definitely not true, then we could do. I think there are some stupid theories that could be true about the white horse at the end.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned that you wanted to make a video on the horse. So if you have like a actually decent theory, then maybe don't mention it.
I'll save it for
your video. Whereas we are going to do a tinfoil hat theory. Brings me perfectly onto a theory that I have. A little tinfoil hat theories.
Tinfoil hat theories.
I altered the audio and it made it sound really stupid, but I thought it sounded funny enough to use, so I just didn't fix it and just left it sounding shit.
Do you want to hear my tinfoil?
I do want to hear your tinfoil hat theory.
So, you know in the Battle of Winterfell when Bran just walked?
I think your tinfoil hat theory is going to be the same as mine.
I don't think it is.
Okay, go on.
He walked because he couldn't deal with the situation, so he wanted to watch his favourite movie, which is...
Okay, there, yeah, not same.
which is Shrek 2. And in Shrek 2, Donkey drinks a potion that turns him from a donkey into a beautiful white stallion, and he goes, "I'm sexy." So, Bran then somehow managed to walk into Donkey as the white stallion.
Whilst watching
it.
He walked in... So, wait, he was... I'm so confused. So he walked in the middle of Battle of Winterfell to watch Shrek.
To watch it, and then
as walking to watch something,
and then
walked
into the movie.
Into the movie, into Shrek.
And then he was
Stallion.
Not Shrek, Donkey Stallion.
Sorry, yeah, Donkey Stallion.
And then he was like, "Oh, I like this body. I'll bring it back to Westeros."
Was it Bran doing an impression of Eddie Murphy? I can't even do that. But...
oh! So he goes back to Westeros, and then he turns up at King's Landing. He's like, "Oh, hi there, are you?
Wait,
get out of here!"
Is Bran inside his?
Bran is the white stallion who is Donkey from Shrek.
Okay, so
I don't know how this is confusing you, Joe. It's quite simple.
It's a very basic theory. My tinfoil hat theory that I didn't think was too far-fetched was Bran just being the horse minus the Shrek part.
Yeah.
That I thought could actually be a possibility. I don't think it is, but like it could be.
I don't think it is either.
I think it's just a horse in actuality, but... Or do I? Because I think, basically, in Season 2, Episode 4...
You just made that up?
No,
okay.
Of course not. There was a cart that had two white horses pulling it that got ransacked, and the horses got detached and ran away. It was just outside Winterfell, if my facts are correct, that I have made up. Then the horses were running and didn't know where to go. Then they got lost in a forest, and that happened to be the Children of the Forest place, the bit that's on the island.
They gave them $1.
And they were in the woods, and then Keemstar was there because he's a gnome. He was with all of the Children of the Forest. Turns out he's the reason that the Night King was going for Bran, because Bran is the only person that knew where Keemstar was. So then this horse ends up finding Keemstar, and then Keemstar gives all of the knowledge to the horse of, like, he's like the biggest green seer ever, and he walks into the horse.
I'm following.
gives all of the knowledge of everything in Game of Thrones ever into this horse, and now any time that a main character needs anything, this horse appears and helps them out.
Let's get right into the news.
That's what he was saying when he turned up with Arya. There was that scene where he was like, let's get right.
So you're saying the Night King didn't want to be on Drama Alert because he didn't want to get exposed and lose millions of subscribers?
See, he'd been going after lots of straight guys, and he's gay, the Night King.
Okay.
So he didn't want to get exposed for that, and he knew that Keemstar knew everything and was going to eventually expose him on it. So he was going after Keemstar, but then because the Night King got defeated by Arya, the Keemstar decided to repay the favour by walking into the horse to go and save Arya.
There we go.
We've solved Game of Thrones right there. What do we think the horse is going to do next episode then?
Nothing.
So if this is
okay.
tinfoil hat theories.
Sorry, I thought we finished. Next episode.
So Donkey, if you're right, and it's Donkey Horse. If it's Donkey Horse.
Bran and Arya are going to go back to Shrek's swamp and live out the rest of their days there.
By themselves.
And Shrek and Fiona.
Oh, sorry. But what about everyone else? Do they just not care?
Doesn't matter about everyone else.
So basically what you're saying is Bran has walked into Donkey, who is a horse, who is kidnapping Arya.
Not kidding, no, they're both going willingly. They can speak to each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Has Bran told them that it's Shrek, and she's like, yeah, I want to go. Why wouldn't she tell, like, Jon or anyone?
Because it's just the secret for Bran and Arya to do.
Fair enough.
And then Arya can take Shrek's face and kill Daenerys as Shrek. There we go. That's what we were leading up to. Got there eventually.
God. She goes to murder Shrek to take his
face.
And then Danny sits on the... It's like there's 2 minutes of the episode left. Danny's killed everyone. She sits on the Iron Throne and like there's a sigh of relief, looking insane. And then all you hear is, "It's all over now."
It's all over now. What are you doing in my swamp?
What are you doing in my swamp? And he like chain chokes her on the back of the chair. And you just see in the shadows just like a silhouette of Shrek's ears.
Yeah.
I love the fact that
sick ending.
Arya has to be Shrek to kill Daenerys. Like, what does she gain from looking like Shrek?
Because none of them have seen none of them have seen Shrek before, so they'll just be dumbfounded and in awe.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past the season. I think that's going to happen,
Me too.
Guaranteed. Confirmed right here. First reactions, you heard it here first.
We have an exclusive.
I wanted to touch on what my Keemstar horse was going to do, but I don't have anything.
Beat Shrek,
and I don't think anything that we come up with will be Arya taking the face of Shrek and killing Daenerys.
Well, there's another Game of Thrones episode. We'll be back for the finale.
Yes. I'm very, very excited. Now, hopefully, you sticking around because we have some bonus memes, bonus reactions. That's a good point, actually.
I feel like we've been talking about Game of Thrones for like the longest we've ever talked about it.
Oh shit! An hour and 10.
Have we got time for one bonus meme?
No. We
don't
don't
have time. That's what's so special about bonus meme.
I've made the decision that I know my bonus meme would take too long, and you said you kind of didn't really have a bonus meme, and you were just trying to find one.
Not one that's worth being a bonus meme on its own.
Exactly. So I have a decent bonus meme. You have a bonus meme. But why do we keep on calling them bonus memes? Because that's not our thing. Bonus reactions. Next episode, we'll have a bonus reaction. So make sure to stick around for, well, not right now because we're ending the episode. Stick around for the next 30 seconds.
Give us a nice review on Apple Podcasts.
That's what I meant to say.
About our Shrek revolution.
Yes, hopefully. I tell you what, if you give us 5 stars and write a review, then Shrek won't come behind you in the middle of the night, say it's all over now and get out of my swamp and then murder you and take the Iron Throne. But if you do...
You gotta do it now.
If you don't, then he's going to kill you. I think, like, my brain is completely fucked. Like, it's everywhere at this point.
I think you did quite well for this podcast.
I just, like, now we're getting towards the end, I'm, like, noticing my sanity is just gone, and I'm like, how have I survived?
Just think what we've been talking about for the past 5 minutes, then, yeah. This is a deleted scene from the local insane asylum. So here we are.
Yeah, I'm just
Inmate
imagining
1
all
and
this.
2.
I'm just imagining this whole entire podcast, like every episode of the podcast, and you're just one of my inmates, and we just sat in a padded cell room, just sat here going, "First reactions, you've only 5-star podcast," just pointing at a wall, not even a camera.
Even all the setup and everything, you got, no, we have to wait, we have to get the camera straight.
Every episode
there
when we
isn't a
try and
camera.
set up the wall behind us, we're just touching a wall.
No, it's just nothing there. And then the people who are looking after us, watching us, like, oh, they're at it again.
It's this time of the week they've got their podcasts.
Podcast.
I think that's time for the outro. Shall we do the outro?
Let's do.
Oh, get to the outro.
It's the First Reaction Podcast.
First reactions podcast.
That's the intro.